Welcome to the podcast series, Small Business Survival Conversations. Through our weekly conversations, we hope to provide you with strategies and insights, knowledge and expertise to enlighten you as you work to build and grow your business.
Good morning, business warriors, and welcome to Monday Morning Motivation on the Small Business Survival Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Anna Steinfest. And if you're a small business owner listening this morning, I want to start with a reminder that not everything that feels like a setback is the end of the story. And not everything that looks like a win is the full picture either. Most people spend their lives labeling everything the moment it happens, whether it's good or bad, whether it's a win or a loss, maybe open door or dead end, breakthrough or disaster. But I just want to remind you again that life rarely works that neatly. And business definitely does not. Sometimes what hurts us helps us later. Sometimes what excites us distracts us later. And sometimes what feels like delay is actually a protection. And sometimes what feels like loss is making room for something new and different and a win. So I will start with an old Chinese parable I love, often told as the story of the old man who lost his horse. It is one of those stories that gets wiser the longer I live. So here's how the story goes. A farmer loses his only horse, and the neighbors come and say, "Oh, that's terrible. What a bad luck." The farmer replies, "Maybe so, maybe not." A little later, the horse returns, and it brings several wild horses with it. The neighbor said, "That's amazing. What a good luck." The farmer says again, "Oh, maybe so, maybe not." Then the farmer's son tries to tame one of the wild horses. He falls off and breaks his leg. And the neighbors, they shake their heads and say, "How awful. What a bad luck." The farmer answers, "Maybe so, maybe not." Then soldiers came through town to recruit young men for war. Because the son's leg is broken, he is spared. So they did not take him. And once again, the farmer says, "Maybe so, maybe not." That story has lasted for centuries because it speaks to something we all fight, especially in business. Our need to judge everything too soon. I'm sure you can relate to that. As small business owners, we do this all the time. Maybe a client says no, and we call it a failure. Maybe a contract falls through, and we call it disaster. A partnership ends, and we call it betrayal. A launch underperforms, and we call it proof that nothing is working. We have a slow month, and suddenly we're questioning the whole vision and our business, and in fact, the existence of our business. But the truth is, some things can only be understood in hindsight. You do not always know in the moment what something means. That missed opportunity may have protected your time. That delayed response may have redirected your strategy. And that hard season may have forced you to build systems you should have built a long time ago. That disappointment may have exposed something weak before it became expensive. Sometimes the thing you called bad news was really unfinished news. That is the word this month. Unfinished. So again, we will call it unfinished before we label this season or this struggle or this closed door or this slow growth, this challenge in your business. I want you to remember that you may only be looking at one chapter, and one chapter is not the whole story. One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is reacting too quickly to what looks like a loss. We panic, we pivot too fast, and we abandon our plan too early. We burn out trying to force certainty. We make emotional decisions because one thing went sideways. And let me say this clearly. Not every hard moment requires a dramatic reaction. Sometimes it requires a pause. Sometimes wisdom sounds like maybe so, maybe not. Remember that this is not denial. This is not passivity. This is not pretending things are easy. This is maturity. It is the discipline of saying, I do not like this. I do not fully understand this, but I am not going to declare the ending from the middle of the story because certainty is not control. So many, so many business owners think certainty means knowing exactly how everything will turn out. They think certainty means every lead converts, every offer lands, every idea succeeds, every quarter climbs, every partnership lasts, every investment pays off on schedule. But that is not certainty. That is fantasy. Real certainty is trust. I want you to trust that you can respond wisely. I want you to trust that every setback does not deserve a funeral. Trust that one disappointing moment does not erase your calling. I want you to trust that the pattern may not be visible yet, but that does not mean there is no pattern. And if you have been in business long enough, I'm sure you already know that this is true. There are things you cried over that you are grateful for now. Certainly, I did that. There are prayers that were not answered the way you wanted, and thank God they were not. There are doors that closed because they were not strong enough to carry where you were going. They are people who left your business, your team, your circle, and at the time it felt painful. But later you realized their exit made alignment possible and something different, happy things happen to you in your business. There are deals that fell apart and freed up your energy for something more sustainable. There are failures that embarrassed you, but also educated you. They are seasons that broke your pride and built your depth. And that is why this story matters for Monday morning. Because Monday has a way of making us feel like we need immediate interpretation. We want to know, what does this mean? Is this working? Am I behind? Did I miss it? Should I quit? Should I change everything? Should I panic? And sometimes the wisest answer is not yet, not so fast. Maybe so, maybe not. Give the story time. Give the seed time. Give the strategy time. Give yourself enough emotional space to respond instead of react. Now, let me balance this, because maybe so, maybe not, does not mean that you ignore reality. If cash flow is tight, I want you to face it. If your systems are messy, I want you to fix them. If your marketing is inconsistent, own it. If your communication broke down, I want you to repair it. If you need to learn, so go ahead and learn. If you need to rest, go ahead and rest. But do not confuse responsible action with emotional collapse. This is the difference. The strongest business owners are not the ones who never face setbacks. They're the ones who do not let every setback define them before the full picture reveals itself. So this week, I want you to hold your outcomes a little more loosely. Do the work, show up, follow through, make the calls, send the emails, improve your systems, serve the customers, keep building, but stop announcing permanently meaning over temporary moments. Stop calling everything a failure before it finishes forming. Stop deciding one storm means the whole business is sinking. You do not know yet. Maybe this challenge is exposing the exact thing you need to strengthen. Maybe this delay is teaching you patience and process. Maybe this closed door is redirecting you toward a better client, a stronger model, a clearer offer, a healthier partnership, or a more sustainable pace. Maybe so, maybe not. But what you do know is this: you can stay steady. You can stay thoughtful. You can stay open. You can stay in the game long enough to see what this moment becomes. And that is very powerful. Because many people do not lose because the challenge was too big. They lose because they reacted too early. They quit too soon. They labeled too fast. They collapsed before the lesson became visible. Do not be that founder. Be the one who breathes. Be the one who pauses. Be the one who learns. Be the one who keeps building while meaning is still unfolding. So, as you step into this week, I want to leave you with this. That setback may not be the setback you think it is. That disappointment may not be the ending you think it is. That delay may not be the denial. That loss may not be final. The story is still moving. And until the full picture reveals itself, let wisdom sit where panic used to live. Maybe so, maybe not. And here's my one question for you this week. I want you to reply and tell me, what setback in your business turned out to be something different than it first appeared? Have a wonderful week ahead.
You've been listening to the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode. In the meantime, hook up with us on our Facebook group at Small Business Survival Tools and Tips. Till next time, thank you for listening.